I've been ghosted before and I know exactly how it feels. You are talking every day, maybe you go on a few dates, the conversation's going good, everything's aligning, then all of a sudden it's just crickets the entire time. Let's get into it with why guys are going ghost. There's probably another woman. And why this happens is he may be indecisive and he lacks sexual discipline. This is a really big one with men because when guys don't have sexual discipline, they constantly feel like they are going to gain something from being with other women. And they're going to kind of base either their personality or think they will find their purpose or base their identity in being with many other women. That's why he's so indecisive. So just because that he's talking to you and texting to you all day, that doesn't mean that he's not doing that to someone else. Talking to other women may feel like it's fulfilling something in him and fueling him when that's really not true. It's a way for them to kind of gain validation in themselves that whatever they're lacking in life, oh, well, I have, all these other women that are interested in me, so I actually am not that bad. Or it gives him a reason to not actually fulfill his own life path and find his purpose and motivate him. And if he is talking to another woman, in you guys' relationship or dating experience, he had no emotional investment into it. So that's kind of hard to think about if you got really vulnerable with him or you disclosed things to him. Maybe he did it with you and you thought that you guys were getting closer, but whatever he could have shared with you probably wasn't that big to him to begin with. Or it could have just been maybe like a trauma dumping session for both of you and he needed you to be his therapist or heal you for a little bit while he goes and scouts out a woman that he actually really likes or a woman that he wouldn't want to drive away as easy. You have to remember that he's just not man enough to confront you, and that's not the type of guy that you want to marry or have children with. A man that can't even do confrontation and understands the value of honesty and effective communication, that's not someone that you want to be with in the long run anyways. The next reason a guy ghosts you, he has an avoidant attachment style and a fear of being vulnerable. A lot of guys have this attachment style, and it's because while they do crave love and they do crave being in a relationship and having a romantic partner, they also fear the sense of losing their independence. And they feel like when they start dating, they're gonna have to start paying for her, they're gonna have to start taking care of her needs, and he can't just focus on himself anymore. And some guys aren't truly ready for that. He doesn't want a woman that will be emotionally dependent on him. He doesn't want to put in the effort to help a woman with her emotions. He kind of just wants to suck out all of your feminine energy and leech it out of you for himself, for his own gain and benefit. That's why a lot of guys partake in hookup culture, because when a man and a woman know that they're both agreeing to a hookup, a man will benefit from her feminine energy when they're engaging in the activity. That's why we say hookups really only benefit men, because if a man is avoidant and he doesn't want to have a woman that is dependent on him emotionally, but he can still be intimate with a woman without her emotions, it benefits him the most, because then he doesn't need to put in any effort. He doesn't need to actually try to court you or be there for you and provide you safety. He can just get what he wants and goes. Him being avoidant and fearing vulnerability, it kind of ties into the last point. It's why they talk to a lot of women. Because talking to a lot of women, it doesn't cause them to get a real emotional attachment to just one. So they feel like they can kind of just keep surface level conversations with all of them. That makes them feel like they're in control. That gives a guy a sense of control. It also kind of boosts his ego when he's able to ghost whatever woman he wants and he can keep his independence. When a man ghosts a woman and he has an avoidant attachment style, it helps him prevent or avoid getting his ego bruised or getting hurt. And that's what a lot of avoidants do. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want you to attach to them because they want to keep you at an arm's length, so they still have the independence and the control, and they call the shots in the relationship. Next reason a guy ghosts you is because they lack communication skills. This is also the problem. If you're talking to a guy and he feels like the relationship wasn't really going anywhere, or that you guys weren't gonna actually be serious and you had that thought and you thought the opposite, he's not going to communicate with you why he's ghosting you or why he doesn't want to talk to you anymore. He's not going to want to tell you or give you closure as to why things ended. Because to him, what's the point of risking talking to you again or hurting your feelings by communicating with you when he knows that he didn't really ever want you to begin with? Or the reason he's not actually telling you that he's leaving or ghosting or that he doesn't want to keep talking to you is because a lot of guys like to keep you as an option. That is the scariest thing as a woman. When you are continuously chasing a guy, if a guy is not communicating with you and ghosting you and you keep trying to go to him and talk to him, call him, try to get his attention in any way, you are just an option to him. If he truly wanted you, he would make sure there'd be no other guy that could possibly get to you. They're not going to want to cut you off completely because they find comfort in, again, having multiple women. They don't want to, kind of string you along because they know that you're going to eventually ask, when can I see you? When can we go out? Let's plan a date. And he doesn't want to invest into you. He's not going to say that because then he won't have you as an option or a booty call anymore. And because he lacks communication, he has no emotional intelligence. He lacks self-awareness and emotional maturity to understand what closure is. That's the thing, a lot of guys, they don't understand the benefits of closure. I don't believe that we always need closure. I do feel like someone's actions is enough. But at the same time, when you just meet someone, you don't want to make an assumption that they're just ghosting you or they led you on or they're a bad person, right? So a guy with no emotional maturity, he's just going to not even understand why you would need closure or why you would need a reason. He's going to think, okay, I can just do this action and she'll get it and I won't have to ever speak to her again. He doesn't understand that communication is a sign of respect. The next reason a man ghosted you is because he only wanted one thing, and we all know what that one thing truly is. So if you decided to be with a guy and he wanted to be intimate with you, but you decided not to, a lot of the times they will use that as an excuse to ghost or to leave. All of a sudden, after a date, you tell him your boundaries and then he doesn't talk to you again. This is a power play for men. It's a manipulation tactic for them. Some men truly do this because they believe that you will chase them and you will beg for them to come back, and it'll be easier for them to get you into bed the next time. Men do this to manipulate your emotions to make you more desperate. So what's going to happen is you are going to set your boundary. He's not going to talk to you and he will ghost you. And then you're going to feel that feeling of maybe regret or sadness, or you're going to be upset that you really liked this guy. And because you set that boundary, he doesn't want to talk to you. You can either have the self-respect and be like, this man was not for me. But in some cases, and this has happened to me, I would go back and I would try to explain myself. Oh, well, this is my boundary because of this. I hope you can understand. Maybe you'll set up a date again and your boundary will be a bit looser because you remember that feeling of not having that person and them ghosting you. And now he has an emotional pull on you. So you want to avoid that feeling altogether and you will loosen your boundary more and more. This also goes in line with if you decided to be intimate with him and he ghosted you, he got the one thing he wanted and you just have to accept it. I think this has happened to every woman before, especially in dating where you think things are going nicely and he hasn't made a specific commitment to you, you're not official yet, or he hasn't put a ring on it, whatever your standards are, and you decide to be intimate with him and he just ups and leaves. Some men are like that, and some men ghost you after using you. And it's why we always say you need to ensure that there is some commitment, that a man is providing something for you. And people say, oh, gold diggers, like, oh, you just want a man for his wealth. No, you want to make sure that a man is putting in effort and actually investing into you before you actually lay down with him, because that's how things like this happen. That's how ghosting happens. You decide to lay down with him and he ghosts you because he got what he wanted, and not only did he get pleasure from it, but he also sucked you of your feminine energy. And now he's going to be walking with his head held high and you're going to be laying in bed for a week feeling like trash. They also don't really care about harvesting a real connection, and they don't care about putting in the effort to truly understand you. He probably never had a real desire to get to know you in the first place. You really have to analyze when you meet a guy, what are the conversations that you are having? Make sure it's not love bombing, and make sure it's not trauma dumping, because love bombing is a way for them to be intimate with you a lot faster. Trauma dumping is something where one of you or both of you gets extremely vulnerable and you feel like, okay, I feel safe with this person way early on, and you go ahead and you begin getting intimate with them. I'm not saying a guy is making up an entire story about, you know, his past and his emotions, but a lot of guys will just kind of want to get on that vulnerable level with you just so they can get into bed with you. My last reason he ghosted you, and this is probably the biggest reason, is he can't afford a woman. He can't afford to date. When a man does this and he has nothing going for him, he lacks purpose or drive, has no motivation, he's using you for validation and to help his own self-esteem, because he is secretly insecure that he cannot provide anything, that he does not know or have any goals. There's nothing that fuels his purpose. So he's going to use a woman's attention to motivate him for the time being, or he will be intimate with a woman and suck her of her feminine energy to motivate him to be better. And when he does that, and when you fuel his ego for a few days, a few weeks, he's going to ghost you, because now he has the drive. You gave him all this attention and all this effort, and now he has the drive to go and be better. And it left you with giving, and getting nothing in return, and now you're empty. He's trying to get the benefits of your feminine energy without putting in any work. That could be pleasure, again, motivation, status. He could trauma dump on you. A lot of guys will literally just make you their mommy or their therapist for a week and then just ghost you. He let it all out, so now what are you guys gonna talk about? He has no emotional connection to you. He used you to make himself feel better, to just get all of that trauma, all his wounded energy out onto you, because he sees you as a safe space, as a dump almost. And you're wondering why he ghosted you? A lot of guys do not have anyone that they can go to for an emotional release. They fear a vulnerability. So when they are dating, they'll find a woman that gives them so much comfort that they can just release all of their trauma and all that negative energy to raise their vibration, but it'll plummet yours, plummet it. And it's our job as women to protect our energy, to give it to people who actually deserve it. Don't let a man just come into your life and harvest all of your feminine energy because you want love or you want a partner. It's not worth it. Don't allow a man that ghosted you with no communication, didn't take into account your feelings. Don't allow them to keep coming in and out of your life, but also don't allow yourself to chase them. Don't go and ask them, why aren't you talking to me? Was it something I did? Tell me how I can be better. It doesn't matter. Their actions speak 1,000 words. They're telling you through their actions that you guys are not in alignment and he is not meant for you. Because if he was, he would be putting in a crazy amount of work to be with you and to have you and to take care of you. Let's say you were his celebrity crush. A man would do anything to get a date with her or to get her attention. And if he's not doing that with you, then he does not see your value. A man will change for the right one. And if he's not changing for you, or he's not putting in the effort for you, he's doing you a favor. It doesn't mean that you're not the right one. No, he has work to do and he's not ready for you. Okay, ladies, I hope you enjoyed that video today. All the reasons why a man is ghosting you. I know it's hard, and I know that it can be really frustrating in dating today, but I promise you the right one will come to you and you will attract him effortlessly. So I will see you ladies in the next one. Bye.